How's it going, folks? So in this video I'm just gonna go into my history and give a background story on how I came to be doing what I am today, YouTube, and going back and forth to Thailand and having a relationship with a Thai girl, and just to give you a heads up on how my journey unfolded and got me into this game. So I suppose it all has to go back to my relationships in my life with the opposite sex. I've had all different types of relationships with all different types of girls. I've had a lot of one night stands, girls younger than me, girls older than me, girls same age, girls from different countries. And they'd be one night stands that maybe the girl wanted more but I didn't and just moved on. Or I also had one night stands where I wanted more and the girl didn't, and I'm not afraid to admit that. A lot of guys out there who wouldn't admit that, as if they're Don Juan DeMarco. And also, I've had one night stands with girls where I've just completely lowered my standards because maybe I was going through a dry patch or something and just needed to get back on the saddle. It's very normal for guys growing up. But there was 3 girls in my 20s who I had close, intimate relationships with. And all 3 of them were weekend binge drinkers. And they all smoked cigarettes as well. And I was smoking cigarettes as well. And it's something that I'm not proud of. I look back and I'm just like, oh, Paul, you idiot. What were you doing? All started when the smoking ban came into the pubs. People would be going out smoking and I'd be left sitting there on my own, and I think I'd be missing out on something, and it was just ridiculous. It was. I was in my 20s, you know what I mean, and taking up smoking. And then it became I wouldn't just drink when I was I wouldn't just smoke when I was drinking. I ended up start smoking when I was sober as well. Silly it was, silly. And what it was you know what I mean, I'd want to go out to the smoking area. That's where everything was happening. And people say, oh, it's a good way to get talking to girls. And oh my God, man, it just makes me cringe. Taking up smoking to talk to girls. Such a simp thing to do. You know? It's simp. But anyways, yeah, so girl number 3, and anyway, who I had a relationship with, I met her while I was on my travels, and it was a very physical attraction that brought us together. Turned out in the end that we were just completely 2 different people. She was very career minded, whereas I was just a drifter, basically, just floating around seeing where life would take me. And she was a lecturer in a university, and she was saying, oh yeah, I get you a job here teaching English and all. And I just loved the idea of being shacked up on campus with me sexy American girlfriend, and that was it. It was just, I just go wherever she went, because I was crazy about her, And I was on campus for a while, and it was exciting and fun, and then the honeymoon period fizzled out, and as I said, it just came out that we were 2 completely different people. And she even said to me, I'd love to be more like you, how you just are so laid back. And I could see that she was a real warrior, because she was a very smart young lady, and I got the impression that she suffered with a lot of stress. She had all these high expectations around her, and if she wasn't doing some type of work or study, she became a very empty person. She didn't know how to just drop everything and let loose, the same like I did. And now all of a sudden, all my plans for the future were just up in the air. I just had to go back to square one. I was just on my own, drifting around through life. And of course I felt sorry for myself. Went on a bit of a bender. I was like, oh God, that's 3 times now, So I took a step back and I reevaluated myself, and I says, like, that's 3 girls now, Paul, like, you know, and every time, like, it finishes, like, you know, I'm just like, I'm a lost soul, I'm a lost cause. I just throw me toys out of the pram like a little baby. So something has to be done about it. So I decided there and then, I says, maybe I should just try and find happiness for myself. Instead of relying on meeting a nice girl and letting that be the key to my happiness. Because what it is you're putting your own happiness in the hands of another person, which I found out is a very dangerous thing to do. So I thought, yeah, you know what, I'm going to just forget about getting into romantic relationships with girls. I'm going to try and find my own path in life, figure it all out for myself, and then find a nice little rhythm. And then once I'm happy with that, I can then add that happiness onto another person. Maybe then relationships will start working out for me. So I headed on back over to Thailand, where I stayed for a while. Got the Lone Ranger tattooed on my forearm, and then went on over to Vietnam, where I bought a motorbike in Saigon and drove it all the way up to Hanoi. So there was a lot of soul searching going on. And then I ended up back in Ireland, and work was very dry. There wasn't a lot happening. I was actually on the dole for about 6 months. So, no work, no real finances coming in. So I found the only thing that I could really do was train the house down. I was getting up early every morning, cycling my bike up to the hill, doing laps of the hill, running. And I was going to the boxing club in the evening time. Fitness levels were going up really high. I was like getting in the ring, sparring with young lads who were coming up, and really holding me own with them. Like, you know, there was life in the tank there, still going. And that was okay in the summertime, didn't bother me. The nice bright nights and the good weather. But as soon as summer was over, all the dark nights started coming in, and it really started to hit home. It was like, man, I need to get a job. I need to start getting money in ASAP. So I was getting the finger out, getting on the internet, making phone calls, and then just by chance, an old buddy gave me a call. He says, do you want to head out for a little stroll up along the pier? And the two of us were just walking along the pier, catching up, talking about life and stuff. And he gave me a phone number. He says, why don't you try this? And then next day, got straight onto the phone, and bingo, I was back in the game. So within 6 months, I was all cashed up, and I booked myself a one-way ticket to Rio de Janeiro. And I travelled all around South America and Central America within the space of about a year and a half, where I visited 12 different countries. Just getting in touch with myself, thinking about life and seeing the world. And then by the end of that trip, I was in Mexico. I decided to myself, you know what, I'm sick of all this floating around, living out of a suitcase and just going from town to town and spending all my money. And you know, I was travelled out. And I says, you know what, I'm gonna go back to Ireland and I'm gonna give the settled life a go. I'm gonna get into full-time work and just, you know, bring on the next phase of my life. The travelling days are over. So I decided to give that a try. So what I decided to do was, I would not commit myself anything 100% work-wise. I would get back into the rhythm of doing the whole Monday to Friday 9 to 5 thing, going out with friends on the weekend, before I fully signed up for that permanent position. So I did that for about 3 months, and I was just not really getting any fulfillment out of life. I would go out on a Friday, Saturday, and then come Sunday I'd be like, is that it? Is that what it's all about? Is that what I worked all week for? Just to go to the pub and spend me money on pints of piss and just laugh at anything and just yap away, really not even listening to what other people are saying, just trying to get your own words in, and just seeing other people like being real loud and being rude and just trying to make fun of others, you know, be funny at the expense of other people. And I just felt like, this is not for me. I'm not serving my life's purpose. What have I got to show? Like, you know, just a headache and less money and just working week in, week out to like go through the same routine. It's like the merry-go-round, like, you know, here we go again. Says, no, I'm not going to sign up for this. So I thought, instead of just like going through life, ticking off society's boxes, doing what everyone else is doing, I thought maybe I should just hang on to the situation that I have, being able to work flexible and take as much time off as I want. So instead of like going around backpacking, going to different countries that I've never been to before, that really didn't appeal to me either. I'd been around to enough places already. So I thought, yeah, what if I pick a place that I've been to already and try set up a nice little life over there. So then I have like the power to earn good money over here, and then make a life in a place where I get a lot more bang for my buck, and a place where I really enjoy spending my time. So I thought, yeah, what would be number one on the list? Hands down, have to be Thailand. Great memories of the place, and it's not too far to travel to, and the flights are cheap enough as well, and it's got great culture, great food, and amazing people. So yeah, Thailand was the winner. I was heading back there again the following summer, and off I went. And of course, after a while in Thailand, I got to meet my lovely Thai lady, who 4 years later I'm still together with and still going stronger than ever. So it wasn't easy in the beginning, because I still had my little Irish ways about me. I was very fond of a drink, and she would remind me of that. She would tell me, like, you know, you really have to drink so much, and you talk too much when you're drunk, you don't look nice, and yada yada yada. And I'd be thinking, who does she think she is to tell me that? She's not my wife and all that, like. But in the course of everything and how things panned out, the way I looked at it was like, maybe she is right. You know, the reason why I'm over here and why I don't want to like set up a life in my own country is because I'm sick of the whole drinking culture. So why should I bring that over to the other side of the world with me? I'm supposed to be over here to try and like find a new lifestyle, one that's healthy and good for me as an individual. So anyways, I was sitting in our shop one day, and a friend that I was hanging around with, a guy from Sweden, sent me a video on WhatsApp, and it was this funny little German man who owned a restaurant down in Phuket. And I ended up watching a few of his videos. I wasn't on YouTube, I didn't follow any vloggers or anything like that. So me, like, choosing this nomadic lifestyle for myself was actually a very brave thing to do. Nobody influenced it on me. I did it all for myself. So I was really intrigued by this German vlogger. Not just of his life in Thailand, but this whole new medium of reaching out to people, walking around with a camera on a selfie stick. And I was like, wow, what a great idea. And I said to Jenny, look at this, check this out, we should do this. And I just thought it would be a great way for me to build an audience so that I could share all my stories about my traveling experiences. I said, yeah, this is something that I could really see myself doing. I reckon I could be good at it as well. So I decided, I was going to buy some new equipment, new laptop, new camera. I spent a few €1,000 on it, and Jenny was so supportive of it. She was there saying, yeah, you want to buy a new camera? Yeah, new laptop? Yeah, I just thought it was a great idea. And that's one thing that I noticed about her. Whenever I was to spend money on material possessions that gave me a lot of enjoyment, she was very supportive of it. The only thing she really nagged me at spending money on was alcohol. And when you look at it that way, am I gonna throw a good relationship away over the girl telling me to cut down on drinking? When you're letting alcohol get in the way of your relationships, it's proof that you have a problem. And I'm not an alcoholic, so I took a step back, looked at the bigger picture and says, right, good relationship, who wants me to do positive things, be creative. Because if I spend the money on camera equipment, training gear, clothes, tangible goods that brought out a good side of my personality, showed that I had money and I was doing good things with it, instead of going off to the pub, drinking, pissing it against the wall, having a headache the next day, and not having any money, looking like a down and out. So yeah, that's when I thought, yeah, she's the woman for me in the end. And our little YouTube journey has been documented pretty much from the start, and all the ups and downs we have, and how we've managed to get through it all and get stronger with time. And fast forward 4 years later, we're still together and getting married in the summer, and very optimistic about the future that we have together. And I wouldn't have found this unless I hadn't just branched off and went my own way, not thinking about women and how they are the key to making my life happy. The reason why I found the person that I'm with now, and I'm doing all the things in a positive and healthy way, is because I decided to go and find happiness for myself and then spread it onto another person, and then maybe that person spread more happiness onto me as well. So it's not only just sharing each other's life, but sharing each other's happiness. But if things do go south, which a lot of people like to point out in the comment section of my videos, I'll definitely hold my hands up and say, yeah, warts and all in a video, exactly what happened. But I am very confident that if it did go wrong, it would be my doing. It would take me to really do something bad to mess it up, and I'd take it on the chin. I would, I'd say, yeah, I messed up. But if it was the other way around, if she dumped me, I would just say to her, do you know what, you can keep the house, you can keep the car, I'm just going to take my health, be grateful that there's no children involved, and be on my merry way, and just keep on doing exactly what I'm doing now. And that's making a few quid, living a healthy lifestyle, and then sharing my life on YouTube to try and leave a positive legacy behind before I break on through to the other side. What I will not be doing is coming on making videos bad-mouthing women, saying they're only out to manipulate men, that they're all disgusting human beings and men should just stay on their own. It's not true. I think that just shows a lot of people are very bitter because they just haven't found the right one. And what I also will not be doing is throwing myself off a balcony, because suicide is just a no-go area for me, no matter what. Committing suicide is like a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Some of the best stories in life are the ones of guys who completely flip the table right around and rise back up to the very top. Once you have your health and you're alive and kicking, you will always have a fighting chance. It doesn't cost too much to be happy, folks. Yet you cannot put a price on happiness.